Well, I'm Russell, originally from upstate New York, up in the boonies in the country, but I've lived 15 years in Nashville, Tennessee area, another 15 years in South Florida, down along the coast. I came to Mexico about 2.5 years ago after I retired and was looking for an economical place to live with good weather all year long, and that's how I settled here. You couldn't ask for a better place. I mean, if you like summer all year long, this is the ideal place to be. It gets a little monotonous sometimes being so hot, but the mountains are only an hour away. And if you want to really take a dive, you get on the van, you can go to Oaxaca or Mexico City or wherever you want to go and escape from the heat for a while. Well, Huatulco specifically, I like the proximity to all the beaches. There's always something going on. It's a small town. It's not a big city where you have the traffic, the congestion, the crime. You know, the most dangerous things you have here are the sidewalks, which can be pretty hazardous, but other than that, it's a great place to be. Well, Huatulco's got a really interesting vibe because when you mix all the different nationalities that choose to live here, the age group, the demographics of everybody, most of them are, I'd say, in their 60s and up. You know, there are a lot of digital nomads that live around here, for those that don't know. I mean, those are guys, younger kids that work online, they all love it here. But it's a nice mix with the local community and all the expats. And, you know, be playing pickleball, go to the beach, have a cookout at the beach, meet up at the beach. It's a beach town, so you got a lot of beach activities, a lot of the cruises around the bay, the trips to the mountains, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot to do, and it's just a good, peaceful vibe here. The hardest thing to get used to is eating late in the day. I've always been eating dinner at 5 or 6 o'clock at night, and now it's 8, 9 o'clock at night sometimes, and that kind of is hard to get used to. Of course, my proficiency in speaking Spanish it's a work in progress, so that's my biggest stumbling block, but I learned enough where I can get by, and I just want to keep getting better all the time with it. It's not completely necessary, but you miss out on so many conversations. You can't have a conversation. You have to just sit and listen to what other people are saying if you don't know what everybody's saying. And everybody's laughing and having a good time, and you're just kind of like, I wonder what they're talking about. Because if you don't know the language, you are missing out. And it's hard to make good relationships with local people. What I like is the fact that people here are willing to work with you. And I mean, they respect the fact that you try to speak the language. Yes, you may get a few chuckles here or there, but for the most part, people are willing to work and help you and correct you. And if you stumble for a word, you know, they can fill in the blank for you. But I've never seen resentment in all the time I've been. Just people actually willing to help work with you all the time. And that's a very good thing. I definitely feel welcome. I mean, I have friends all over town, a lot of locals, and I don't hang out a lot with expats all the time. So, you know, I intermingle. I give my business to the local places, the local food, restaurants, the stores, and they all know me. And we exchange greetings on the streets all the time and stuff like that. And they're very welcoming and very appreciative because I make it a point to spend my money where I can with the locals, instead of the big box stores or the big grocery stores or something like that. There is a growing expat community. It used to be, of course, I came here during COVID. It was a very small, tight-knit community. And as COVID's gone away and tourism has come back, the crowd size have grown bigger and bigger. More people are staying longer or moving here. That has kind of a compound effect. because you see the prices starting to go up with rentals, food at the restaurant, the prices go up, the cost of cerveza goes up. But that's a fact of life. I mean, it's supply and demand. Well, I'd read a book a long time ago when I was young about the cost of living in Mexico. And I thought, wow, that can't be real. And then as time got closer to retirement, I started actually researching online. And I started out with one website and one location, then I went to another, and I ended up researching Huatulco. I came here in January of 2020, and I stayed like 15, 16 days over at the hotel over here, and started looking around to see if it was someplace I wanted to retire at, if it was comfortable for me, if it was safe, the cost of living all in general. And after spending a couple of weeks here, there was no doubt in my mind that I could make a go of life here because it was so laid back. The cost of living was affordable. It's not cheap, but it's affordable. And when you're living on a retirement budget without a lot of savings, and it makes sense to go someplace where you can get the best bang for your buck. I'm sure there's other places, but I like warm weather. I don't like cold, rainy weather. I don't like snow, and I like summertime all year long. Everything here is broken down into sectors, and some are better, some are more prone to water during the rainy season, flooding and things like that, and they're all resemblant of each other. They all have your lavanderias where you get your clothes done. They have your tiendas, your little stores on every corner. You have your little bars that spring up all over the place if you like to drink, and mezcalerias everywhere if you like to sample the mezcal. Between the food availability, the stores, every neighborhood that I've been in looks like it's about the same. This is what they call Sector H. This neighborhood is the absolute best. It's quiet, it's safe, it's all families. You don't have a lot of rowdiness, a lot of late night parties. The biggest obstacle, I guess, in this neighborhood is the dogs barking. And they bark a lot. But I'm a dog lover, so I can tolerate a lot. I mean, yes, getting woke up in the middle of the night is a little aggravating once in a while, but that's the way it works. Dogs will bark. Everything distracts them. But the infrastructure is good. They just got done putting in new water and sewer lines here. But the neighborhood itself, the store is a 2-minute walk away. My other store is only 5 minutes away. So I have everything, fresh fruits and vegetables everywhere within 5 or 10-minute walk. Very rarely have to go to the big grocery stores, and I love it. I struck gold in this neighborhood because it's nothing but the best. The real estate is always fluctuating. The prices very seldom go down, they go up a little bit. You know, there are ranges from 4,000 pesos up to 20-some thousand pesos a month. So wherever that falls in your budget, I mean, you can make a go of it, but still, even at 20,000 pesos a month, that's still, you get a lot for that amount of money. I mean, if you want to be here on a comfortable level, you could probably expect to spend $1,500 US to $2,000 US a month, depending on your taste. I mean, if you want a ritzy place, you're going to spend more money. If you like to live in neighborhoods with the locals, your cost goes down. If you want to be on the beach and see the sea all the time, you're going to pay more. I mean, I choose to live inland, away from the ocean, and around the locals, in the local neighborhoods where it's a family-oriented community. And it's very peaceful here, and the costs are very good. I get around mostly by foot. I like to walk. I had a scooter. I never rode it. I put money into it. I finally sold it. But I prefer to walk. I like to stay in shape. It doesn't hurt at this age in your life to walk around. If I have to take a taxi, I do. The taxis are inexpensive, 35 pesos anywhere around town. And if you have to go out to one of the beaches, it's 60 pesos or 70 pesos. Way out, it's only 100 pesos. I mean, the cost is just very good. Well, my experience with medical services is limited. I mean, I had some stomach issues a year or two ago. I finally went to the doctor. It cost me like 500 pesos for an office visit and an exam. I think I spent almost that much in medication, but it was sufficient. Luckily, I don't have a lot of medical issues. I had some dental work done. I paid like close to 30,000 pesos for a bunch of medical or dental work, and that was super reasonable. Every doctor I've been to here, some are more country, but very professional. Some don't speak English, but that's my problem, not theirs. I mean, I'm in Mexico. I'm not in the States, so I do what I can to communicate effectively. And so far, it's worked out fine for me. But all the doctors I've been to here, and that's only like 2 or 3, including my dentist, and my dentist is an absolute perfectionist. So my experience here with the medical has been everything top notch. I pay everything out of pocket. You know, I haven't had insurance in many years, and eventually I'll look into it as I get older, maybe if I develop something along the way. But right now, it's so affordable, I don't have to have an insurance policy. Well, I can tell you what I spend on my daily average, just living expenses. I average about 350 pesos a day for everything. Food, drink, groceries, eating out, all combined is about 350 pesos a day, which is under $20 US a day. So when I go to the big supermarkets, I may spend 1,500 pesos, almost 2,000 pesos. And I think that's a lot of money, but I mean, the things last for the whole month. Go out to eat a few times a week or a couple times a week. And I mean, the overall cost is just, it's crazy affordable. I buy all my stuff local. I use very, very few imported products. There's certain things I like, certain ketchup or little condiments or something like that. I had a hard time, and I still haven't found horseradish. I like to use horseradish for certain things. I can't find it, but I found horseradish sauce. Yeah, it's not exactly the same, but it's sufficient. I'm not that snobbish that I have to have everything. But in all my recipes that I like to cook, I just make do with what's available. I utilize what's available to me, just locally grown, and everything tastes perfecto. The quality of products, everything I buy is good. The only thing I've noticed is that because there's no preservatives and everything added to all the produce or spraying, whatever it is, if you buy something, you better use it in the next couple of days, because if you don't, it's going to go bad. When I first came here, I was in the U.S. mentality, and I'd go and do my shopping for a week or 2 weeks at a time, and I threw away a lot of food. And now I finally smartened up over the years, and I go shopping almost daily. I mean, sometimes every other day, but for the most part, if I need something for soups or potatoes or carrots or something, I have the market within 5-minute walk. I get down and I get fresh produce every day, and I use it up. I do not like throwing away food. So I've started buying smaller quantities, because if I'm only cooking for 1 or 2 people, I used to cook for a lot of people at a time, and I buy more and I waste more. Now I finally got it, and I'm happy where I'm at. I have never felt safer, even from coming from small towns in the States and where I lived in the Nashville and Florida areas. I come here, and the biggest safety factor I have is watching where I'm walking, because the sidewalks sometimes are not smooth. So other than that, I've never seen crime. I've never seen anybody getting mugged. I've never seen anybody getting stuck up. I never hear of stores getting robbed, which in the States is a common everyday, almost every hour occurrence. And it's such a sigh of relief not to have to worry about that. I sleep with my windows open at night. Yes, I lock my door, but that's because I come from city areas. So yes, I do the right things. I have the gate downstairs to make sure that's locked, but that's just common sense. Don't invite trouble. Well, being in this area, there's a lot of families that don't have a lot. I mean, they're happy, but a lot of kids don't have shoes. A lot of You know, a lot of places don't have roofs over their head. So I've tried to get involved any way I can with the local community. I always buy local from the small stores, but also, I mean, after the hurricane this last year, when I came back into town, I hooked up with my friends who are members of the Rotary, who are in the Rotary Club, and on 2 different occasions, we met early in the morning. We loaded up pickup trucks and SUVs, and we drove hours out into the mountains on quite treacherous roads that were wiped out by the hurricane, just to distribute everyday essential items to all these people who lost everything. And I mean, people just love the fact that you do that. And I live here. I want to be part of the community. I like to feel good that I can help out in doing things. I'm retired, I have lots of time, and I like to devote my time to making things better. You know, and if I can help in a small way doing stuff like that, that makes me happy, and I'd encourage anybody. If you're going to move into an area, in a different town, be involved in the community. You can't go wrong with the satisfaction you get in bringing a smile to somebody's face, helping somebody in a time of need. I mean, it's a good feeling, and I'd encourage anybody to do it. Sure, a lot of people I've seen that moved here to Huatulco, they come with the mentality of where they're from, whether it's the US or Canada or whatever. They come here expecting a cheap version of where they're from. And it's not existent. I mean, when you come here into a different country with different cultures, the key is to adapt to their cultures. We're in their country. Live it, embrace it. This is your new life here. I mean, stop trying to make things the way you're used to having them somewhere else. If it means that much to you, maybe you should stay there. I mean, I don't know what to tell people. I see people though getting rude in stores. I'm behind people that come here and they're rude to the people that own the stores, and I'm ashamed just for them being the way they are. And it's like, how can people be so rude? And their level of expectation is beyond realistic. I mean, it's just not. You can't just come someplace else and be like that. Well, if anybody has any desire to move to someplace, I'll use Huatulco as an example. I mean, set yourself some time. Come and see what the town is like. See what the people are like. Actually get involved with things while you're here. Take the time. But if you don't do your homework before you move somewhere, you're going to go somewhere and not like it. And I think it's up to us to do our individual due diligence. I mean, you have to look around. You have to be able to be willing to change. Be willing to get involved and acclimate yourself to your surroundings. But just leave your expectations outside. I mean, don't come expecting things that aren't reasonable. Me personally, I like to get involved in finding things. I'm big on research. I'm a kind of a nerd when it comes to that stuff, but I realize a lot of people, they don't have time. They don't want to be bothered, you know. Now the Mexico relocation guide is a fantastic outfit to go with. I mean, because some people, I went to other countries and visited, and I went through something like the Mexico relocation guide to get there. I booked with them. They took care of everything. I didn't have to worry about anything, and sometimes that's the best way to do it. It's carefree. You place your trust and your faith in somebody else that knows all the connections and where to stay and where to eat and where to do this, and it's well worth the time and the effort and the small expense that it costs. I mean, I think it's a good deal. I hope anything that I may have said you can use. It's a great place to be. And Mariana is a great person with her Mexico relocation guide. And come for a visit. That's the best thing you can do. It's not for everybody, but you don't know if you never come to look. And with that, I can't see doing anything else in the near future, but life is so uncertain. Who knows what tomorrow holds?